I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly.
And this is a Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So grab your favorite drink, sit back and relax, because your show is loading. Today's episode includes the following trigger warnings, mentioning topics of sexual assault, physical abuse, drug abuse, post-mortem assault with objects, bodily harm, and murder. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. As always, we apologize if we say any of the names or places wrong in today's case. This week's true crime category is high profile, so let's get into it.
Criminals like Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, and many more all have one thing in common. Well, technically two. Killing and gaining a fan base. It has happened over and over again, where people truly believe that these criminals are attractive and that they are supportive of them. I don't fucking understand it.
I don't either.
I will never understand it because they have literally killed someone. And it's usually backed up by a mounting amount of evidence. It's not like, oh, maybe they killed someone. No, It's like they did the crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact that these criminals are murderers. If you can't tell where this is going, then let me tell you. There is yet another murderer out there that has gained a huge fan base. Maybe not as big as the criminals I mentioned earlier, but still worshipped nonetheless. This is the case of Wade Wilson, or better known as Deadpool Killer. It fucking ruins Deadpool.
Yeah, I was like, come on now.
And I will say the only reason why he got the name Deadpool Killer was because Deadpool's name is Wade Wilson.
Oh, right.
So that's why they...
Yeah.
Personally, I hate going into the backgrounds of the criminals. Mainly, I think it's because they're usually some sob story of how they grew up. And yes, no one should go through what some people do. But at the same time, it isn't a reason why it's okay to do what they did. I don't understand how some people could go through something horrific and think, oh yeah, it happened to me, so I need to do it to others. That's not how it works. At that point, they're just spreading more pain and more suffering. But to them, that's probably the point. Now, after rambling on about my personal opinions, the criminal I am going to talk about today doesn't seem to have a sob story of a background. I'm not saying that he did or did not have a bad childhood, but from my research, it doesn't seem like he had it that bad. But yet again, I can't really say because I wasn't in his shoes. Right. But no matter what happened to him, it doesn't give him a reason for doing what he did.
Right.
Anthony Tessasica was born on May 20th, 1994, to teen parents. His father, Stephen, was only 14 or 15 years old, while his mother was a year younger than Stephen. Unable to raise him, he went into adoption. The couple that adopted him was a couple that went to the same church as his birth parents. This would be Steve and Candace Wilson. Anthony's name would be changed to Wade Wilson. The Wilson couple were known as very friendly and nice people, and they just wanted what was best for Wade. Wilson was raised in Tallahassee, Florida, and attended Chili's High School. In his younger years to older years, Wilson was a troubled kid, always finding his way into trouble. He had a very bad behavior at school, to the point of lighting toilet paper on fire under the school bleachers. Because, boy stuff. Normal.
Apparently.
Wilson would also begin taking an assortment of drugs at a young age. One of his girlfriends in high school would say that he treated her horribly, along with cheating on her, saying that he just really didn't respect women. Family members would recount the times where Wilson seemed paranoid, constantly closing the curtains because he thought someone was watching him. Or the time he called the police because he thought someone was in the garage. These incidents are later brought up as a factor in his mental health. Whether you believe it or not, I'll leave it up to you.
So this actually irritates me because everybody recognized that there was something wrong and they didn't do a damn thing about it.
Yeah. But honestly, this is just a possibility. Right. If someone is doing drugs, could that cause paranoia?
Yeah, especially depending on what you're taking.
Yeah. Or if because of doing the drugs, did that cause them to get into a bad crowd and possibly now owes people money or favors? Either way, it is still not an excuse. I don't know how many times I gotta fucking say it, but I'm gonna say it as many goddamn times as it takes to get through some people's heads. It is also later mentioned that Wilson suffered 4 concussions as a young boy due to sports and a car accident. This is also later used as contributing to feelings of instability. In 2012, Wilson's criminal history would begin in Leon County. This would begin a long list of burglary, assault, and firearm-related offenses. November 2013, Wilson was sentenced to prison for burglary and grand theft. Eventually, he was released in September of 2014. In 2015, he was charged with sexual battery and kidnapping after a woman accused him of assaulting her in his car after a party. The charges were acquitted by the jury. From 2016 to 2018, Wilson was a witness and informant for the Leon County Sheriff's Office. This was against Brian Winchester, who was Wilson's cellmate at some point. Wilson claims that he was offered $20,000 to kill Winchester's wife. He claims he told the police because he didn't feel right about it. More like just trying to get on the police good side.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, Wilson was incarcerated for stealing firearms and was released in July of 2018. So I don't know if this is when Wilson met Brian Winchester or if it was from when he was previously in prison. It's not specified. Wilson was also mentioned in connection to Jerry Michael Williams, who was a target of an alleged murder by hire by his wife, Dennis Williams. Wilson claims that he received $20,000 in a white envelope at the meetup spot post-released while on probation. It's a fucking never-ending list.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson would begin dating a woman named Kelly Matthews after meeting her on an online dating app. The relationship seemed to be doing good until Wilson began doing coke.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there might be some problems there. One of the days, Kelly was going through his backpack to try and find the coke, and he just flipped on her. He kicked down the door of the room that she was in, and then threw her onto the kitchen table. Kelly claims that he never laid a hand on her until that incident. February 18th, 2019, Kelly talked Wilson into going into a rehab clinic nearby. On the way there, Wilson said he changed his mind and wanted to go to a rehab center in the Florida Keys, which was 3 hours plus away. Because that makes total sense. Like, I don't want to go to the one just around the road. I want to go this one that's 3 hours away. At some point, they pulled off into a parking lot and got out and started arguing. This was mainly because Kelly assumed Wilson was just lying and wanted to just go to the Florida Keys to meet up with other people or other women. Kelly would get back into the car trying to leave, and at this point is when Wilson began choking her. He would do it multiple times, with Kelly blacking out and or almost blacking out each time. Next, he pushed her to the floorboards while cutting off her clothes with a knife. He shoved her into the trunk of the car, gagging her, tying a shirt around her face, and tying her hands and feet with a used garbage bag. He would then assault her while biting her face and chin. Kelly also had a broken foot from it being slammed by the car door. After everything, he left her in the trunk while proceeding to go through the McDonald's drive-thru.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Eventually, Wilson did let Kelly go, giving her the car and the keys. He would get into another car, another woman's car, and take off to wherever the fuck he was going. Kelly went to the police and to the hospital. She remembers that they took over 200 photos of her, but she never saw them or was able to locate them. Which, I don't know if the police lets the victim see the photos of the assault or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know exactly how that works. The police would find and confront Wilson, but he would just claim that she liked it that way. Investigators would not pursue the charges due to lack of evidence, no existing DNA test, and a no contact order. Needless to say, the relationship ended.
I sure fucking hope so.
Yeah.
No evidence. No evidence to continue.
No evidence, even though they took 200 plus photos.
Yeah. Well, and you take all of that aside, the bite marks on her face, and
she made a TikTok about it too, and made a video of talking about the assault and showed all of her bruising and all that.
Oh my gosh. And her broken foot.
Yeah, no evidence. She liked it that way.
Okay. I mean, I know sometimes accidents can happen, but how was any of that an accident? I mean, obviously it's not, but...
On July 1st, 2019, Wilson was yet again arrested for battery. However, by October, he was already back out on the streets.
Gotta be that connection he made.
Yep. On October 7th, 2019, multiple 911 calls would come in about a domestic dispute in Fort Myers, Florida. Once police arrived, the woman involved was badly beaten and the assailant had already taken off. It doesn't take a lot to figure out who the assailant was. It was Wilson. The woman was a girl by the name Melissa Montanez, who also goes by Mila. If you do look up stuff, her name, it shows Mila.
Okay.
But during this whole case, I call her Melissa. Melissa and Wilson had been dating for a little while. I'm not exactly sure how long, but I am assuming just a couple of months. Because, I mean, he was in jail not too long ago.
Yeah.
But that don't mean shit. This argument actually started on the night before, on October 6th. So the dispute happened on October 7th, but like it kind of started on October 6th.
Okay.
Both Melissa and Wilson went to a local bar called Buddha. They seemed to be having a good time until Wilson told Melissa that he wanted to go to a friend's house to party and do drugs, essentially. Melissa didn't want to do this, so she stayed at the bar. However, Wilson would take Melissa's car while leaving Melissa at the bar. I believe she did eventually either stay at her friend Amy's house or got dropped off by Amy. But, like, to fucking, I'm going to go party.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go, but I'm going to fucking take your car.
Right.
Fucking asshole. Melissa's night would end normally and fine, except for Wilson taking her car. The next morning, she would wake up to multiple missed calls from an unknown number. This would be from Wilson. At this point, Melissa was done with the relationship and just wanted her car and her keys back. Calling Wilson, they would agree to meet up at the spa she owned. Melissa and her friend Amy would arrive at the spa, and when they got there, Wilson was already there. Amy would stay in the car while Melissa confronted Wilson. The problem? Wilson didn't arrive at the spa in Melissa's car. He was driving a black Nissan Versa. Wilson also didn't get out of the car. He would just sit in it and demand for Melissa to get in, claiming that he needed to tell her something. Melissa refused, and this made Wilson mad. Getting out without putting the car into park, Wilson tackled her to the ground, while the car caught both of their legs in the process.
Damn.
I don't believe they, like, broke anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, like, kind of just caught them.
Yeah.
The argument would continue and get more physical. I mean, how more physical can you get from
Right?
tackling to
Yeah.
the ground? I shouldn't fucking laugh at that, but I'm laughing at myself for putting
Right.
it got more physical.
Not the situation.
No. Melissa at some point got away and ran into the spa while Wilson was right on her tail. Wilson was 6'6", while Melissa was only 5'2". So you can imagine that he can easily catch up to her.
Oh, yeah.
While in the spa, Wilson would push Melissa against a wall and begin choking her, and repeatedly punching her in the face. Only once Melissa's nose exploded, Amy's words, did Wilson stop. Melissa ran to the next door shop to get protection or, like, hide from Wilson. At this point, there were many witnesses that had called the police, Amy being one of them. Wilson would flee before police would arrive. And Amy didn't get out of the car because Wilson was yelling at her, saying that he'll fucking kill her if she gets out of the car. So, I mean, the next thing you do is stay in the car and call the police.
Mm-hmm.
After Melissa and Amy gave a statement, the police convinced Melissa to set up a meetup. She would message Wilson and convince him to meet her at Joe's Crab Shack. This restaurant was just across the street from Melissa's spa. The officer would block Wilson in the parking lot of the food place. Wilson would refuse to get out of the car, and the officer would tell him just to wait in the car until the other officer showed up. However, the officer didn't block Wilson as well as he should have. Wilson was able to squeeze the car through a small gap, and he took off. The officer followed him for a while, but eventually lost him because they didn't believe it was a serious enough crime to risk a car chase and endanger
Other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, they just thought it was a domestic dispute.
Yeah.
Not much time would pass before another 911 call would come in. This time, it was from a man named Joshua, who owned Mateo's Graphics, which was a printing company. Joshua claimed that they were just acquaintances. Wilson walked into one of the buildings with only sweatpants on. No shoes, no shirt. He was covered in blood and missing teeth. On the phone, Joshua said that he seemed frantic and was rambling on that he killed someone, that he needed help with getting out of town. Joshua excused him and just told Wilson to relax and that he would just be back in a second. This is the point where he called 911. But by the time police got there, once again, Wilson would be gone. This time it appears that he left on foot because the black Nissan Versa was still there. The keys to the car weren't found anywhere near it. So, after breaking into the car, the police spotted blood. Thinking something or someone could be in the trunk, they opened it. No one. Next step, who did the car belong to? It was registered to a woman named Christine Melton. The unknown number that Melissa got on her phone just so happened to also be the phone number of Christine Melton. When trying to get a hold of Christine, there was no answer when the police were trying to get a hold of her. After looking up her emergency contact, they called her cousin Samantha. Samantha would say that she hasn't heard or seen Kristen at all that day. She would tell police that the only one to possibly know where she was or heard from her would be her best friend Stephanie. They had been best friends since their teenage years. In their 20s, they lived together for a brief time, eventually moving from Illinois to Florida. They both worked together at the local bar called Duffy's. Stephanie would claim that they went out the previous night, October 6th, to the Buddha bar. They catched an Uber around 10:30 p.m. While at the bar, they met a man who went by the name JR. Both Stephanie and Christine would hang out and drink with JR and his friend Jason. Apparently, the whole group, mainly Christine and JR, really hit it off. They hung out the whole night, even after the bar was closing. Someone in the group would mention going back to Jason's house to continue hanging out. At this point, they would all agree and get into a Dodge Hellcat, which was a stick shift. I believe Jason would be the one to drive this car, but he wasn't the owner of this car. It was JR that was the owner, or apparent owner. When arriving at Jason's house, his mother was still home and up. Some claim that his mother was upset and not happy that Jason was bringing friends home. They would all go into Jason's bedroom, but shortly after, Jason and Stephanie would leave the room to hang out outside of it. It is unclear exactly where they hung out. It's possible that they went outside on the trampoline, or were still inside but in a different room. Either way, JR and Christine would have sex in Jason's room, in Jason's bed, which is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mind if I, go over to your house and bring this chick so I can fuck her on your bed? What the fuck? After this, the group would do 1 to 2 lines of coke before deciding to leave. Jason would stay home while JR, Christine, and Stephanie would make a plan to go to Christine's house. Getting back into the Hellcat, they wouldn't make it very far. This was because JR didn't know how to drive a stick shift. They would call another Uber driver to come pick them up, and also have that Uber driver park the Hellcat on the side of the road because they were stuck in the middle of the road. Once to Christine's house, Stephanie didn't stay very long. It was getting to the point of being too late and she needed to leave. She left her son with her mother, and she also had to work the next day at 6 in the morning. Stephanie left after hugging Christine and telling her she'd talk to her tomorrow. This would leave JR and Christine alone in her house. That brings us to the next day, when the police got a hold of Stephanie. She said that she sent a message to Christine in the morning to just check in, but never got anything back. Stephanie said that she wasn't too worried since they did have a late night. Christine wasn't scheduled to work that day, so Stephanie just called her when she got off work, but she got no answer. This is around the time that the police would call Stephanie. Worried now, Stephanie and Samantha would go over to Christine's home. But when they got there, police were already there and the area was taped off. Christine was found dead, rolled up in bedding with clothes wrapped around it. She was in between her bedroom and kitchen, so I don't know if it's like a hallway or just a walkway. I don't really know. It just said it was in between her bedroom and kitchen. She had bruises on her face, torso, and arms, along with bruises on her organs, her liver, colon, and bladder. She had a swollen eye and swelling of the brain, and multiple fingernails were broken. It was obviously that she fought back and struggled. When they found her, her cat was lying next to her alive. They said that the cat seemed kind of confused, like, my owner's not moving, kind of thing.
Yeah.
She was not only sexually assaulted, but after death, she was assaulted by objects that were located in her home. Stephanie went to the police station to give a statement, and while there they showed her a lineup of men. She would point out a man claiming that he was JR. Of course, we all know where this is going. His name wasn't JR, but Wade Wilson. I am assuming that this lineup was picture form because after this they would still have to find Wilson. So I'm assuming it was picture or video, something. Police would get in contact with Wilson's birth father, Stephen. At first, Stephen was hesitant to tell the police anything, but then he just thought, what if it was his daughter or relative that died? Stephen told the police that Wilson did call him while he was at work, and at the time couldn't answer him. After work, he would call Wilson back, and Wilson would tell him a long list of events, claiming that he really just needs help to get out of town because he did something that he couldn't take back. Wilson would also say that he killed someone. Stephen at first didn't believe Wilson because Wilson was known for making up stories. Also, he was a drug addict. But still, someone says, I killed someone, you take it seriously.
Right.
After this phone call ended, that's when the police called Stephen. They mainly just told him to let them know if he hears from Wilson again. And Stephen would. For the third time that day, Wilson called Stephen. This time he would go into detail of what he did. Stephen would later say in court that he seemed very nonchalant about it, almost excited while talking about the kill, saying, quote, I choked that bitch, end quote. Wilson also said that he planned to take Christine and put her in the trunk of her car, but she was too heavy. He would tell Stephen that he believed this was because rigor mortis already set in. So instead, he just rolled her up in the bedding and left her. After this, he would take Christine's car and go meet up with Melissa. Stephen would ask why, and Wilson's reply was, quote, I just wanted to do it, End quote. Wilson would then explain after leaving Melissa and having the run-in with the officer at Joe's Crab Shack, he just drove around. This is where he would notice a woman walking on the side of the road. This would be Diane Ruiz. He got her to get in the car by asking for directions to the local high school, claiming that he already went the way that she pointed out and just asked her to get in to show him where. After she got in the car, he began choking her. Believing that she was dead, he would dump her body, but when doing so, he would notice that she was still breathing. Stephen claimed that Wilson told him this, quote, ran her over until she looked like spaghetti, end quote.
What the ever-loving fuck?
And then he dumped her body into a field. While on the phone with Wilson, Stephen was having his wife message the officers to keep them up to date. Stephen convinced Wilson to tell him his address of where he was, saying that he was going to send an Uber to pick him up. Wilson was in a random person's house hiding out. The police would go to this house and eventually Wilson would come out, but not before saying he wanted to talk to his dad one more time. And this is all his birth dad, not his adoptive dad. October 8th, 2019, at around 12:58 a.m., the interrogation of Wilson began. The first investigator would be a woman named Belle, and I personally think this was a smart decision. The reason that I say that was because Wilson was the type of man to think he was smarter and more superior than a woman. In the beginning, Wilson wasn't really saying anything. I mean, like, when they first brought him in, he was making friendly chatting with, like, the
arresting officers?
Yeah. And that they were kind of, like, standing there, standing guard until Belle got into the room. And then I believe they just stayed outside, assuming that someone has to keep watch on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking, but just saying a bunch of nonsense. Asking what he was being charged with. Along with saying that if she gave him something, then he would in return give her something. Information-wise. The whole time Wilson is just trying to get information out of Belle. But she doesn't really give him anything until he starts talking. Pretty much just warming him up, making small talk. At some point, Wilson would say this, quote, "You're doing all right, but I feel like you should just tell me." End quote. Meaning, just tell him why he's there. Like, the fucking audacity to talk to a detective like this. And I'm sure if it was a man, it would be different.
Oh, absolutely.
Eventually, he admits to being at the places and seeing Christine and her friend, but doesn't admit to the actual crime or murder. Claims that it was just a hookup. And I mean, at this point when he's talking about this, he doesn't know yet what he's being charged with. He doesn't know that he's a suspect of murder. Belle does eventually tell him that they found Christine dead and that he's a person of interest. Wilson played it off like he knew nothing about it, saying it was unfortunate. Then he would begin to spin the story that they needed to look into the guy that he was with. He claims that he didn't know this guy at all. He was a complete stranger. This man he's talking about is Jason. Jason. I don't know if that's this guy's actual name or if it's just like a
cover name, basically.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure with that, but Wilson said that this guy was really weird and strange, that they needed to look at him, not Wilson. Personally, I believe that Wilson was just giving information because he wanted to get more information. At one point, he asked Belle how Christine died. Belle didn't answer him, saying that she didn't know the details. I mean, that's always suspicious. Like, oh, how did they die? just curious.
Yeah.
He says that. He says, just curious.
Mm-hmm.
When asked about wanting to leave town, he claims that it was just to avoid going to jail over the Melissa situation. That she has done this before and he doesn't want to go to jail again because of her. Wilson just continues to talk and talk, along with denying everything. Another thing Bell asked about was the call to his father, Stephen. Wilson flat out said that he never talked to his dad. During this whole interrogation with Bell, you can tell that Wilson is trying to flirt and trying to put his charm on, but it doesn't work. But then when Bell leaves, a new detective, Paul, comes in and his demeanor changes. At first, he's not really saying anything, but Paul asks a couple questions, and he does answer at first. Paul asks about the car keys to the Nissan Versa, because they can't start it without them. I mean, they could, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think they're just trying to get information.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson said that he didn't know where they were, and it was probably just in one of Joshua's buildings, where he left the car.
Mm.
Next, Wilson said this, quote, "Sounds like she doesn't need to," end quote. Meaning that she's dead and doesn't need to start her car anymore. And honestly, it's the way he said it that bothers me so much. It's in a calm, matter-of-fact voice. Then everything kind of changes when Paul tells Wilson all of the charges. Especially when the manslaughter charge comes up. Wilson would say, "Prove it," whenever that's brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson began cursing and calling Paul names when he started bringing up the history of Wilson beating women.
And he just kept getting out of prison. Isn't that interesting?
Wilson would go from cussing and raising his voice to not talking at all. He would only speak again when Paul asked him if he wanted to know how Christine died. And I mean, he's silent. He's silent for a good 5 minutes, not talking. And then Paul asks, "Do you want to know how she died?" And then there's a minute of silence, and then he picks up his head because he's resting his head down.
Mm-hmm.
He picks up his head and pretty much says, "Yeah, how'd she die?" So then Paul wouldn't actually tell him how she died. But he would just say something along the lines of, "Let me just read this victim statement because it's pretty much the same." Pretty much leading, "This is how she died. Exactly what you did to these women." And he would begin cussing and swearing again. Calling Paul a asshole and, "Well, I didn't do shit. I'm innocent."
Yeah.
The whole spiel. The interrogation would end with him continuing to deny it and just saying, "Prove it, and I don't care." Basically, what I take from this interrogation is that Wilson is a narcissist and thinks he can get away with anything. And he thinks that he's very manipulative. Wilson was held with no bond, with multiple charges. This included manslaughter, grand theft, assault, and breaking into a house. On the same day that Wilson picked up and killed Diane, her purse was found. The person who found it brought it to the local elementary school nearby where they found it. The resource officer at the school would try to find the owner of the purse. Assuming that they went through the purse and found an ID and looked her up, they called Diane and there was no answer. The officer would let the local police know and asked to do a wellness check, pretty much just to see if she was home and to get her purse back to her. But we all know that she wasn't at home. Her son would answer the door and claim that his mom already left for work and should have already been at work. That day, her friend that usually drives her to work was unavailable, so with no other choice, Diane had to walk to work. Diane would walk to her job at Moose Lodge. She was a server and bartender there. It was only a 10 to 15-minute walk from her house. Police called her work and they said that she never arrived and was a no-show, no-call, which was extremely unusual for her. In all the years that she worked there, she has never done that and barely took off any time. After Diane's son called Diane's fiancé, they decided to report her missing. He was at work, his phone was in his truck. He didn't get to it until lunch, but as soon as the lunch came, he got into his car, seen the messages, talked to Diane's son, and he pretty much left work right after that.
I mean, absolutely.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
By the time October 10th came around, police would announce that they believed that Christine's murder and the disappearance of Diane were connected. Diane's body was found on the same day. 2 police officers were taking a break from searching for Diane when they stumbled upon her. They were taking a lunch break in the parking lot when they noticed a buzzard, which is a type of bird, circling an area. When checking in the field behind the lot, they found her body hidden. Diane's nose and finger were fractured. I believed it was her ring finger that was fractured. She had lacerations underneath her left breast, bruising on both sides of her body, forearm, and the back of her hands. She had multiple broken ribs, along with the hyoid bone and damaged tracheal cartilage. He would also sexually assault her, but it's unclear if it was before or after death or both. I tried to find her full autopsy, but I couldn't find it. So
yeah.
And I know she had a bunch of internal injuries as well.
Oh yeah, because
she got ran over by a car multiple times. In November of 2019, Wilson was indicted by the grand jury for Christine and Diane's murder. A few weeks later, they announced that they were seeking the death penalty. While in prison, Wilson was not on good behavior. In October 2020, he would be charged with attempting to escape when the prison workers noticed his metal bars were off the window and the window was broken. And he had also taken the metal stool that was bolted to the ground and just pulled it like it was,
oh my God,
no longer bolted to the ground. Wilson would also try to contact the news multiple times to try to clear his name. This included phone calls and online interviews. Some of them wouldn't happen because he found his way in solitary confinement many times. While he was saying he wasn't guilty to the news stations, he was confessing to the murders to Melissa on the phone. Yeah.
So him believing that he is superior to women, but he's literally confessing to the crimes that he committed on a recorded line.
Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't, yeah.
Melissa and Wilson's relationship is really weird, and you can just tell how manipulative he is. But at some point, he can only be so manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
When talking to him in the beginning, she claims that she hates him and can never forgive him. But then they would both be laughing as he made jokes about the assault, saying that she took the punch like a champ.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and they were both laughing about it, and you have to listen to it to understand. I don't. And she's saying all this time, I hate you, I can never forgive you, why did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
You hurt me, you punched me, and all of this stuff, but yet they're like kind of laughing about the assault. Like, she's like, I grew up with brothers. I can take a punch. Didn't I take that punch good? Like, it's like,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
I don't yeah, you have to watch it or listen to it to understand. I don't understand.
I don't either. The only thing I think of is that's how she's coping. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
Yeah. Then, as the months go on and eventually years, Melissa changes her tune and claims that she's going to take care of him. Eventually, Melissa did end the relationship, and I believe she ended up marrying someone and moving on.
Good.
I think she married someone in 2021. I think I seen that somewhere. Now, while waiting for the trial to happen, Wilson began spinning a new story. Because he's been in jail and solitary confinement and had time to think, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
The story would go like this. Wilson was actually part of a huge trafficking ring. It started in February 2019. He was offered a job in the Florida Keys to be a security guard. This place he was guarding was actually a meth house. Wilson also began to notice multiple young women being brought in and taken out. Next, he claimed that Melissa's spa and Joshua's printing business, I think it's Mateo's Graphics, was just a front for the trafficking. Melissa and Wilson met because of the ring and began dating. Wilson was planning on leaving the organization, but the leaders had a different plan. The day that Wilson left Melissa's spa, the leaders met up with him and told him that he needed to take the blame for the deaths of the two women. If he didn't, they would kill his entire family.
Oh, come on.
Then Wilson would try to back this up by saying that the organization burned down his parents' house in Tennessee, which it did actually burn down after he was in prison. I think it was like in 2020. I don't believe this BS story. The actual trial wouldn't happen for years. This was mainly due to Wilson. He was constantly in solitary confinement and doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. I don't know if it was one lawyer or multiple, but at least one lawyer passed away, so they had to wait for him to get a new one. Also, Wilson was very hard to work with. Imagine that. Many lawyers would quit because of him. And if that wasn't enough, a fan base for Wilson would begin. There were groups and people on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc., making thirst traps and free Wilson videos. Not only that, but Wilson also created a GoFundMe page for them to pay for him to get new clothes for the trial. And it wasn't just like regular brand clothes. He wanted designer brands like Gucci. Next, multiple juries would leave and or quit because of Wilson. He would stare them down and some of them would even cry. On June 3rd, 2024, the trial was scheduled to be 3 weeks long. It would only last 3 days. Wilson also made the request to be able to get a new haircut and be able to cover his new face tattoos that he got in jail, or prison. This would include a Joker-like smile with stitches, a swastika under his eye, and the word glory on his temple. He also had other face tattoos as well. This was granted, but Wilson would only arrive with a fresh haircut, and his tattoos were out in the open for everyone to see. So what the fuck was the point in saying you want to cover it? They also say that he possibly wanted to cover it because his lawyer was Jewish. The prosecuting side had many witnesses and provided a timeline leading up to the deaths. These witnesses would include, but not limited to, Stephanie, Melissa, and Stephen, Wilson's father. The defense didn't put up much of a fight. They didn't call up any witnesses and only argued about whether or not it was premeditated. Not the fact that he committed the murders, because they were saying, oh yeah, he committed them, but they weren't premeditated like the prosecuting side is making it seem.
Because they want it to be an act of passion or mental stability brought into the factor. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely. After a little over 2 hours, a verdict came back. He was found guilty. The next part was the sentencing. This is where the defense fought back. In their closing statement, the defense was fighting for no death penalty. They had an expert come forward claiming that Wilson was not sane, pretty much. Like, he was sane in the moment, but like at the time of the crime, he wasn't sane. This would be Dr. Einstein, a neuropsychologist. This doctor claimed that Wilson's record showed diagnosis of bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, antisocial personality disorder, adjustment disorder, and many, many more things. He put this together with a record of like going back 10 years. Saying that Wilson had been on many medications and is currently on medication for these problems. His conclusion, though, is that Wilson suffered from neurocognitive brain impairment from having those 4 concussions when he was younger. And the drugs just made it worse. When this doctor was cross-examined, it came out that this doctor was in over 150 capital murder cases. And in every single one, he was on the defense side. And almost always, he claimed that the crime was committed because of this brain injury. So pretty much just collecting paycheck.
Yeah.
The prosecuting side would also bring in a specialist. This would be Dr. Herkov, and he was a clinical and forensic neuropsychologist. This doctor claimed that Wilson did not have any mental psychotic disorders, and he was not impulsive. He believed it was premeditated. The jury came back with a recommendation of the death penalty. For Christine's death, 9 out of 12 recommended the death penalty, and for Diane, it was 10 out of 12 recommended the death penalty. In Florida, a law was passed that if 8 out of the 12 jury members recommend the death penalty, then the judge will consider it. One of the juries came out later and said that the reason why they voted for the death penalty for Diane and not Christine was because they felt like Christine's death wasn't planned, where they believed Diane's was. August 27th, 2024, the final sentencing hearing began. The defense called up another expert to pretty much confirm what the previous one said about the brain injury. Wilson's adoptive parents also sent in letters to the court saying that the system failed Wilson and he suffered from mental illnesses for years, claiming that he should be given grace.
Oh, it just got really fucking hot in here.
Hotter than it already is.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. Because he had a mental illness, he should be given grace when the victims that he killed, they're no longer here.
Yeah.
What about them?
Yeah. And you knew he suffered from mental illness, but
and you didn't get him help?
Didn't get him more help. Knew that he was probably doing drugs and didn't fucking do anything about that either.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The final ruling was count 1, first-degree murder of Christine, sentenced to death. Count 2, grand theft, sentence 5 years in prison. Count 3, battery, and sentence 364 days in jail. Count 4, first-degree murder of Diane and sentenced to death. And count 5, burglary of a dwelling and was sentenced 15 years in prison. When asked for his final words, Wilson only requested to be moved to death row as soon as possible. Today, his execution has not been scheduled yet, so he's just sitting in death row. This sentencing didn't change Wilson one bit. He continued to get in trouble and would be charged with drug trafficking and conspiracy to commit drug trafficking. He pleaded guilty in exchange of dropping the attempted escape charge that he had earlier.
Previously?
Yeah. He was sentenced an additional 12 years. And this all happened only 2 days after his sentencing.
And the thing of it is he's not going to, like, he's on death row. He already knows what's going to happen. He doesn't give two shits before, and he's not going to give two shits now.
Yeah. Only a month after moving, Wilson sent a painting to a woman he called Sweet Cheeks and told her to sell it to rake in the money. He would also set up another GoFundMe page. Wilson would also misuse his tablet and get it taken away, which death row inmates get fucking tablets.
Yeah.
And then when he got it back, he would almost break it right away because he couldn't pretty much figure out how to use the USB port. So, you know.
Wow.
Wilson would continue to have a huge fan base. They would call themselves Wade's Wives. He received hundreds of messages from women and thousands of mail. One of these women was named Jess, and their phone calls were released. The phone calls between her and Wilson. And she came back around and tried to sue the prison and the county for letting them be released.
It literally says, so just in case if anybody's wondering, it literally says on there, like when you call into the prison or someone from the prison calls you, it literally says
recording.
Yeah, we informing you that this call is going to be recorded.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
And in these phone calls, it's them of like, I don't know what the fuck you call it, like sexting over phone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And getting into graphic stuff like that. Her pretty much, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Fucking gross.
Yeah.
Apparently, since then, she has been bullied and threatened. But yet, the ones that testified against Wilson have gotten death threats from the same fan base.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. This isn't active anymore, but there used to be an Instagram account with the handle Wade Steven Wilson Official. On this account, the main type of post was supporting Wilson and wanting to free him. At one point, it had over 17,000 followers.
What the fuck?
Mainly all women. These people would get tattoos on their bodies of his full name, even starting a merch line. And a lot of those things were saying, like, save Wilson, free Wilson. Whether this is the fundraiser that Wilson started or a different one, this particular fundraiser got over $70,000 raised for him. To me, it's just really incomprehensible.
So, okay, cool. The $70,000 goes to Wilson. Any monies that come into him should then be split up to the victims' families.
Yeah.
I like that idea. That's cool.
No, instead it goes to him and he gets to buy stuff in jail.
Bullshit.
Or in prison.
Bullshit.
Yeah. An evolutionary psychologist would say that it is possible that these people are acting like this because of our past. She goes on to say that some women are just attracted to more dominant...
I don't even want you to finish that sentence because I'm literally going to vomit.
That they're more attractive to more dominant man who would be called a hunter back then that would help women survive.
That would help women survive? Okay, but he literally killed women and beat the fuck out of some. I'm short-circuiting.
Yeah. It's not like he went out and, like, killed monsters.
Right.
Like, pieces of shit.
Right.
He went out and killed women. So how the fuck are you supposed to survive if he's fucking killing you?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Another theory is that some people are just attracted to pathological, unusual behaviors and anti-heroes.
Why didn't that doctor just lead with that? That makes sense to me.
This one is from a different person.
Oh, well, that makes sense to me. The first one is...
Yeah.
No.
And with the type of platforms that we have now, it just amplifies it. The media can glamorize it. These criminals can appear to have charm or charisma, along with the use of fandoms. And there's a lot of those out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people make a connection to people who read, like, smut books, which I'm one of those. And I do like my dark romances, but the thing is, that's fictional.
Yeah. And there's a line that, I mean, I guess some books might cross that, but I don't understand.
I'm not reading about this man that's described as attractive. That's killing women. No, I'm not reading about that. If anything, he's killing other fucking monsters, or he's like in the mob and they're like shooting guns and doing war. I don't fucking know, but they're not fucking killing other women.
Right.
Oh man. Oh, that just got me heated. Christine Ann Melton was born on May 31st, 1984. Her life was taken from her when she was only 35 years old. Many said she was the glue that held the family together. She wasn't just stunning, but also had a great sense of humor. They said her humor was dry, quick, and witty. She was loyal and a protector. Christine loved adventure and to travel. Her favorite place was in the mountains and at the beach. Family and friends said she was a once-in-a-lifetime person.
Aww.
Diane Ruiz was born on September 17th, 1976, and she was only 43 years old when her life was taken. She was a mother of 2 boys and was looking forward to marrying her fiancé, Scott. Her family said she was very hardworking. In the 5 years she worked at the Moose Lodge, she never missed a shift. Her priority in life was her children. She prioritized her kids' health and education, raising them with kindness, perseverance, confidence, and integrity. One of her sons shared an impact statement and made direct eye contact with Wilson. He said at the time it was an intimidating experience, but not because of Wilson, but because he was in front of strangers and live television. Her other son that he couldn't make a statement because he knew if he got up there in front of Wilson, it wouldn't be about his mom anymore. What he wanted to say wouldn't be in remembrance of his mom.
Yeah. It would be like probably something about
POS.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking words.
Yeah.
I think he did say something when he was in court, but he didn't make an statement because he just knew that he wasn't going to be saying the right things.
That is understandable.
Her 2 sons actually did an interview with Bunny, Jelly Roll's wife.
Or soon-to-be ex-wife.
Yeah, soon-to-be ex-wife.
Yeah.
All that's going on.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to that.
In the interview, Bunny asked them, like, if you could say something to Wilson, what would it be? And I can't remember what the one son said, but and the other one that, like, really makes me remember it is he said that he didn't have anything to say to Wilson, and he will one day, but he doesn't right now because he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I have a couple mentionings. On Netflix, There is a show called Worst Ex Ever. And the second season features an episode called Dating the Deadpool Killer. This episode is about Wilson. And I believe Kelly Matthews talks about what happened to her. Then on Paramount Plus, recently, they just released a 3-episode series called Handsome Devil, Charming Killer. This whole documentary is about Wilson as well. I believe each episode is like 45 minutes long. And in this series, they release a lot of the phone calls between, and like in the prison, and then with his dad and Melissa and other people. But I will say, I don't like the title of this, but they do not
romanticize it.
No.
That's good.
They pretty much say that he's a
piece of shit.
Yeah. And they were going to get a interview with him. Or I can't remember if they did or didn't, but if they didn't, it was because he was in solitary confinement. Shocker.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if they do that too because they don't want to be interviewed, so they'll do something to put themselves in solitary.
Well, he agreed to it. But then I think he wanted money and they wouldn't give him money because in some states you can't.
Right.
They can't make money off of talking about the deaths.
Yeah.
And Florida's one of those states. In the most recent photos of Wilson that were released, he looks completely different. The only thing that's the same is his tattoos. He looks bloated or like he gained weight. Some of his teeth are missing. And then in another picture, it looks like he has like a grill on his teeth, which I don't know how you get in prison.
I am not sure. I know there's ways. There's always ways, but...
And then he also had a bandage wrapped around his head.
He's also probably gotten his ass beat a couple times and also beaten the shit out of other people.
Yeah. Most likely. Now people are like coming out and they're like, oh, you thought he was attractive in the beginning? Well, what do you think of him now? And they don't really say anything. Well, I mean, the Instagram that used to like have the main fan base is down, and I'm not seeing very many people posting about him anymore. I honestly think it was just like a passing.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what to say.
Yeah. The only thing I can think is, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up in a nutshell is what the fuck.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck can you fantasize about a fucking killer?
That's the one thing that bothers me the most is the doctor that said that.
Oh, evolution?
Yeah, I can't get past this because of a survivor instinct. He's not going to protect you. He's going to kill you. Yeah. How is that surviving? I don't
I don't know either.
I could have read that completely different or interpreted that completely different, but that's how it come across to me is that.
I'm right there with you.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, this will definitely be another update on
when his execution date will be scheduled. The other thing that bothers me is how the fuck do prisoners get tablets?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is because of
they're on death row.
On death row. Like, I mean, I don't know because I know you get certain things for like good behavior, but if he's constantly getting
bad behavior,
how is he getting these like awards? Or sorry, not awards, but rewards.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. The only thing I think is maybe that he's paying people from the GoFundMe page.
Could be.
Slipping a little something? I don't fucking know. Thoughts and questions.
Has his attorney or his current attorney, has any appeals been filed? I mean...
I don't think any appeals have been filed.
I was just curious because I know he's gone through attorneys.
Yeah,
rapidly.
Lawyers and and like.
So I was just curious if any appeals had been filed.
None that I know of. And I mean, this did happen just in 2024.
Oh, okay. There's still plenty of time. I mean, look at the one that was sentenced and 10 days after an appeal was filed.
Yeah, this is gonna go up on the board and...
Yeah, for our ever-growing list of updates.
Yeah. Anyways, our next episode is going to be a special one. It is our 100th episode.
Woo woo! We are there. Almost. Oh, we are there. This is the 99th.
This is the 99th episode. So
I've
our
only
next
had
one...
2 cups of coffee today, guys. I need more, apparently.
So our next one is 100th, and stay tuned to find out what our category is.
Woo-hoo. Our hearts go out to the victims and all affected in this case. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Girls Gone Curious Podcast. Until next time.